Good evening. My name is Kurt Belaski, and tonight we will be discussing breach of contract. Our agenda for this evening is that we will take a look at the definition for what a fundamental breach is. We'll look at the actual remedies for the breach of a contract, and then provide some examples of those remedies as well as a conclusion. Okay, so a fundamental breach is defined as an act that is committed by one party of the contract, either the buyer or the seller, the provider or the receiver, and it deprives the other of what they reasonably expect to happen, unless the breach was unforeseeable, and that breach would not have been foreseeable by a reasonable person. So what this is saying is that if there's a breach of contract, then that breach would obviously deprive something. In other words, you didn't deliver the project on time, or you delivered less than you said that you would, or something along those lines. But it wasn't your fault as the provider. Then you would not have a fundamental breach. But if you don't meet those requirements, then you have a fundamental breach. So when you breach a contract, what happens? Well, obviously, someone's not happy, and the other person probably isn't thrilled either. But you have to take a look at what remedies are available. So here's a list of the main remedies that are available for any breach of contract situation. You can cancel the contract. You can exercise a right to correct your actions, to correct the contract. You should correct your actions to fulfill the contract. You can, another remedy is to get an extension of time or extension of performance. As compensation, you can have a reduction of price or monetary damages, or you can fall under what's called a specific performance. So if you're going to cancel a contract, obviously that's the most severe penalty. This should not be the first remedy that you seek in a breach situation because, well, you want to receive the goods, or you want to receive, the product. So to cancel a contract, it really needs to be thought of as a severe. Like if you're contracting to have a fence built, well, you want the fence built. Get to one of the other remedies before you get to, well, everything, we're just going to cancel the contract. I'm going to lose money. You're going to lose time. That's where the next one falls into line, which is the right of correction, which is curing the discrepancy, fixing what's wrong. If the fence was supposed to be 45 feet long and you only provided 40 feet, well, fix it, add the other 5 feet. And let's say you were supposed to build that fence within 3 or 2 weeks. Well, if it wasn't done because of weather, or if it wasn't done because of some other reason, then you can ask for an extension of time. You get to keep the contract in place, but you just get an extra 5 days to complete it. You can reduce the price involved. If you were supposed to deliver 100 widgets, but you only delivered 90, well, the buyer should be able to, in order to keep the 90 that he did get, granted it wasn't all 100, but to keep the 90, let's prorate the price so that the buyer doesn't have to pay the full price for the widgets. He just pays for the 90. Monetary damages. This is a situation where you can pay the damages and you maintain the contract. And it's not the same thing as a proration. This is more of a like a penalty, where in that situation where you only got provided 90 of the 100 widgets, well, maybe you pay for only 85 and you get the extra 5 thrown in as a damage. The specific performance is that the buyer has the right to demand the performance. Like you paid for the fence, you paid for the 100 widgets. Well, I want them. I made as the buyer, elect the monetary damages of I will reduce how much I'm willing to pay you, but at the end of the day, I still want 100 widgets or I still want 45 feet of fence. Therefore, that service needs to be provided. In conclusion, we talked about the definition of what a fundamental breach is. We discussed the remedies and provided examples for what they are. And this is the list of references that I used for this presentation. Thank you and good night.